This is what I broke my 30-hour fast with. Now, I don't know how many carbs it has. I don't think it went over 30, and that's all I had for the day. So, what I did is I had a pan and I threw some lard in it and cooked up some bacon and put that aside and fried a corn tortilla, nixtamalizado. So, again, I guess what I've read is their glycemic index is 52, their total carbs is 12, and that's for a serving size of 50 grams, but actually each tortilla is only 26 grams. So the glycemic index obviously stays the same, but the carbs then would drop to 6. I calculated once around 10, but who cares? All right. So anyway, I fried it in lard, put that on the bottom, and then I had this delicious avocado. So I mashed that slightly, a little bit of salt, some lime juice. That's it. That's your basic guacamole, your traditional Mexican guacamole. So I smeared that onto the fried tortilla. Top of that, I put my bacon. Now, this next level here, let me show you with my arrow. This little guy here, this is asadero cheese. And what makes this very cool is you can throw it on this comal, which is back here. Okay, this is my hot plate. All right, I throw 3 little handfuls of that. In other words, what I can pick up with my finger. So I would imagine maybe half a cup of this cheese, and it crisps on the bottom. By the way, that's a good hint for what I call a pizza, because I can throw pepperoni and mushrooms on the soft side, the bubbly side, and you can scrape that whole thing off onto a plate. And when it cools, it hardens and becomes its own crust. Hint, hint, hint. 0 carbs in that, by the way. Or maybe there's 1 carb here in the cheese. So anyway, I flipped that over. So here's the molten cheese, right? Mixing with the guacamole and everything else. Now, I had some 3 slices of processed yellow cheese. Some folks go, oh, it's dirty keto, this and that. You know what? Whatever. It doesn't have a lot of carbs, so I don't care. And this is some lean ground beef. Again, I have my dietary fat with the cheeses, the guacamole especially, the avocado, is replete with potassium, like oodles of potassium. And this was a big old fruit. I mean, this whole avocado fit in my hand. And my fingers stretch across 23 centimeters or a little more. So I have a pretty large hand. It was a pretty big fruit. So here it is. After the cheese, I layered on yellow cheese, meat, yellow cheese, meat, yellow cheese. And then on the top, this is a Mexican salsa. It's tatemado, which means I pretty much threw it all on a hot plate, similar to the comal in the back, but this thing's a cast iron chunk of steel that sits right over your gas fire. And that'll blacken the outside of the chili, the tomato, the onions, the garlic, all right? And then the cilantro you add later, a little bit of salt, and siempre su toquecito de pimienta negra molida. Or what Yuri de Gortari says, he was a famous chef in Mexico, he said, a little bit of ground black pepper, all right? So that's in the salsa itself. And then the other half of the lime that didn't go into the guacamole because you would over acidify it, I went ahead and put that all over the top. I do want the acid. The acid will help obviously break down the meat. It will reacidify my stomach, making sure that the LES closes, the lower esophageal sphincter. So even this much food won't be coming back up as heartburn because of the acidity. All right, all these little things I picked up and learned. So anyway, that is just a delicious, delicious meal right there. And even if I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, is 10, 12, max maybe 15 carbs total. But again, I'm not really keto oriented. I'm more intermittent fasting oriented. And of course, there's the only obviously the cheese is a bit refined. There's really no other way to make cheese but to refine it. But the tortilla refined in that it is made directly off the piece of corn. I don't remember. I think it's called cacahuacintle, but I can't really remember exactly. It's slacked in cal, or I think it's calcium hydroxide or something like that. boiled for about 8 hours to remove the hard covering, and then the inside is ground to a powder mixed with potash. That was typically what the Aztecs used, and in that potash is every mineral known to man, pretty much. 2,000 plus years of Aztec tradition. They fed mostly on corn, and that's kind of how that all goes. So everything here was pretty natural. It was pretty good, and again, that's just kind of the fun stuff I get to eat here in Mexico. All right, so we'll tell you about how my fast goes tomorrow. Believe it or not, I'll be fasting probably only 11 and a half to 12 hours because I'm going to be eating some breakfast around 10:30, 11. It's going to be a quesadilla, and that thing is going to be absolutely delicious. Oh, and it's Tuesday, so I get tinga also. One day maybe I'll show you how to make tinga. Delicious stuff. We'll talk soon, guys. Bye.